Hey everybody, today on Henry's HowTos, I'm going to show you how to make Armenian Nazook. Let's get straight into it. So the first thing we're going to work on is our actual dough component, as that will take the longest time. So just into a large bowl, we're going to start with 1 pack of yeast, or 1 teaspoon. To this I'm going to add about 200 grams of softened butter, about 1 tablespoon of sugar, about half a teaspoon of salt, about 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm just using canola oil. Don't use olive oil or anything with a strong flavour. Next we're going to add in about 1 cup of sour cream. Now if you don't have sour cream, yogurt can also be used for this. And next we'll crack in 1 egg. Now we just want to give this a very quick mix before we add our flour in. Just like so. So at this point we're just going to add in about 3 cups of plain flour. And we'll start by carefully mixing this all together. Now you can use a mixer for this if you like, but I prefer to just do it by hand. Once your dough starts to come together like this, you'll notice it's still a little sticky. So what we're going to do is gradually add a bit of flour in. So we'll start with a 1/4 cup. And we just want to carefully work that in. The reason I don't want to add it all at once is it will become clumpy. We want a really nice smooth dough for this. So as you can see, it's all come together, but it still has a little bit of stickiness. So we'll just add in another 1/4 cup. And we'll work that in too. Okay, so as you can see now, the dough isn't sticking anymore. So that's the result we want. So just brush it along the sides, pick up all that excess flour, and just incorporate that into it. And we just want to knead this for about another minute. Alright, what we're going to do now is just sprinkle some flour on the bottom, place our dough in the middle, and we're just going to cover this with some cling wrap now, and place this straight into the fridge. Now we want to leave it in the fridge for at least 3 hours. Okay, so it's been 3 hours, so I've just taken the dough out of the fridge. Now you want to let it rest outside for around half an hour to an hour, just so it's easy to work with. If you start working straight away, it's going to crack, it's not going to work. So in the meantime, we'll start to prepare the rest of the ingredients. So just into a bowl, I'm going to start by adding in 1 cup of crushed walnuts. Now I've crushed these very fine. This can also be done without walnuts if you have a nut allergy or you prefer not to use them. And to our walnuts we'll add 1 cup of sugar. Next we'll add half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground cardamom, half a teaspoon of ground cloves, about half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and to this we're going to add 1 cup of melted butter. Now we just want to very slowly mix this through. Once you've got that well combined, we're going to add in about 2 cups of plain flour. And just very carefully fold that through. And there we have it, our filling is ready. So basically the consistency we want should be soft and just very lightly sticky. Just a little bit. But at the same time it should be able to crumble up. Like that. So we can set that to the side for now and actually start building our nazook. Alright, so what we're going to do now is preheat our oven firstly to 180 degrees Celsius. Now our dough has been resting at room temperature, and as you can see, you can actually mold it again. So what we're going to do is set that to the side, and most importantly we're going to flour our work surface. Now what I'm going to do with our dough is just divide it into 2 pieces. Because I don't want to do this all in one batch, just because it's going to create too much mess. And all we need to do with this is just turn it into a round shape like that. Make sure you have flour on hand, it's very important. And we're just going to use a rolling pin to roll that out. Now make sure you do flip the dough over repeatedly. We don't want this to stick. Now what we're sort of aiming for is almost a rectangular shape. But it can be a bit circular like this, that's fine, that's not a problem. So basically this is what we want. It's almost like a square, rectangle, circle in one. So what we're going to do is get our filling mixture, and since we're using half the dough, we only need half the mixture for this. So just divide it in half. Doesn't have to be 100%, just make an estimate. And what we're going to do is just sprinkle this on top. Now of course just leave about a 1 centimeter gap around all the edges. Okay, so that's about half the mixture out. So what we'll do is just spread it out. And as I said, leave a gap. So basically you want something like that. So what we're going to do now is just grab our dough from one end like that and flip it over. Then roll it again. And then you just want to continue like that. And then just carefully flatten it down so you've got a nice rectangle. Now at this stage you can use a knife to cut this into rectangles. What I've got here is a crinkle cut sort of knife, which is actually made for Nazook. So basically you just want to cut it like that. Obviously if you don't have this, use a normal knife, that's fine. And that's our Nazook there. And all we need to do is transfer this onto a baking tray now. Alright, so that's how they're looking now. So here comes the fun part. Just in a bowl here I've got 2 egg yolks with just a teaspoon of cold water. I just want to give that a quick mix. And this becomes our glaze. So you just want to brush the top of every Nazook with it. Alright, once they've all had a nice glaze like that, we're going to go ahead and put them straight into the oven. Now at 180 degrees, this should only take around half an hour to bake. Alright guys, so we're at the 30-minute mark, so I've just taken them out now. And just look at how beautiful they look. So we're going to let these cool down first, don't go eating it straight away. And there we have it guys, that's how we make Armenian Nazook. I hope you like that guys, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook, Snapchat and Instagram. If you've got any comments or suggestions, just leave them at the bottom and I'll see you all next time.